Hey everybody, welcome back to Over a Pipe. My name is Martin, and I am super glad to have you back for another pleasant Sunday smoke over a pipe. Today I am smoking some Haunted Bookshop, and out of my Missouri Meerschaum. This is part of my first impression that's coming up. Hint, hint. New blends. November. Yay! The Matches 860 special, as I think everybody likes to call it. So today we have a few topics. You might see a array of buttons sitting right here. So we are going to talk about family acquisitions of your hobby. We're going to mention Risticob's ICC MP. Oh, what is it? ICCPM contest. We also are going to get into what tins are recently available, and if you have deja vu. And you know what? Let's maybe end it with some comments and questions that you might have. Make sure that if you want to have your comment or question read on the Pleasant Sunday Smoke Over a Pipe, please put in the hashtag #AskOAP, and we will address that on the Pleasant Sunday Smoke. So let's get into it. How many times have family members bought something that you are fairly particular about? Well, that happened to me today when my father decided to come by and show me his prize, which was 6 pipes. Now, these are 6 pipes plus a pipe rack, which I was very excited about. I am super excited about said pipe rack. Now, to him, he believed he was getting a good deal, and so he ventured forth to try and see if it was a good deal. And this is a prime example of why you should always make sure you ask said family member before you buy, just because you don't want to waste your money, and you want to make sure that you're getting them something that they really want, which I'm more of a fan of. So as you can see right here, we will start off with the Medico. A look at this lovely little beauty. I'm sure Briar Blues has about 50 of these in his collection right next to his Castellos. As you can see, a slight amount of cake buildup. That's number 1. Number 2, love you, Dad, by the way. Don't be angry. Is a Cary Magic Inch Grecian. Slight amount of cake in that bowl. This one's interesting just because it looks like the tenon and mortise is actually installed into the pipe. At first I was like, did we break this? But no, this is how it goes. So very interesting. Nice little cross grain. Could get buffed out, and you could see some of that bird's eye. A little nick here and there. This one, it was smoked fairly heavily. Bit of chatter on the button there. We have another. Excuse me. Let me get things out of the way. We have another made in London, England, Cary Magic Inch. with the tenon and mortise on the end. It fascinates me how it does that with the hollow stem. Very interesting. Obviously there's some chatter on this one. You can see that this one was also definitely loved on quite a bit. But probably not so much as this one, which is a Medico Cavalier. This one actually comes apart, which is good. But it was absolutely loved on and smoked. A working man's pipe. This was the clincher out of them. Very much smoked, and as you can see on the button, this one was in a grip. And the second, we have the Wimbledon rusticated. Nice little rustication on there. A little bit shorter than the rest. This one did not see much of anything. Probably only smoked a couple times. If that. Looks like an insect even died in it. And last but not least, we have a very interesting Dr. Grayboe. And I'm tempted to send these to Gribbs because he might want something to do. Very nice, very nice. So that's a purchase from a family member. And you know what? I do not begrudge my family member for such a purchase because, again, it's a situation where their mind is in the right place. Their heart is in the right place. However, their heart is in the right place, but their mind was not. That's what I meant to say. And I am just not a fan of getting something that I don't know much about, because my grandfather was a pipe smoker and a cigar smoker. And that's it. That's the only partaker of such things in my family. And so if you're going to buy something and put money on it for somebody who you know enjoys that hobby, ask them first, please. Please ask them first, please. Because I am excited about the pipe rack for sure. It's cool to see some of these pipes. Are any of them my style? Not really. No. The Dr. Grayboe I think is pretty cool. That one is a fun little pipe for sure. Really not my thing. Again, I think the money that was spent was worth it just for the pipe rack. I think it's an overpaid pipe rack, but worth it all the same. The rest of the pipes, who knows? So, that's all I got to say about that. Just saying. Now, the next one. What do I have to say about the next one? The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. My apologies for that. So we have Peterson blends. Such Peterson blends, I am excited to say, are back in town. And some of my favorites. Some of the Peterson blends, such as Nightcap, which formerly known as Dunhill Nightcap, Early Morning Pipe, Standard Mixture, Royal Yacht, a few of the others, and I'm excited to see them back. I'm excited to see the Peterson line has the Dunhill blends. It's very, very exciting to see those come back, and it made sense. It just made sense. If you thought that Peterson, or if you didn't think that Ladisi or Scandinavian Tobacco Group, if you didn't think that Scandinavian Tobacco Group was going to push for these blends, you're insane. Because these were moneymakers for them. It had the Dunhill brand. So what made the most sense? Put these with another iconic brand. And so they went with Peterson. Now, I'm of a mind, just for my own persuasion, to rename these either to Peter Hills or Duntersons. Is it Duntersons? Yes. So, Duntersons or Peter Hills. What do you think should be the reference name to these blends? Leave a comment down below. So, so we've got, was there anything I missed? Peterson Flake, Elizabethan Mixture. I think that was about it that has come over so far. So 7 blends. Will there be more? Maybe. I mean, I'm sure they're going to look at, Baby's Bottom and some of the others and see if that's worth coming. But again, it's a smart move for Scandinavian Tobacco Group for a blend that they were already blending and were now able to just attach to another iconic name. Perfect sense. Great business idea. Love their strategy. I think it's a win-win for them. Now, make sure that you go and watch Aristocob's video on the 11th annual International Missouri Meerschaum Pipe Month contest. I will not put the description down below because I'm lazy. Go check that out. So he specifically talked about 3 years ago when you were asked about goals, things of that nature. I have goals all the time. I'm a firm believer of goals. I think you should have goals in your life. I mean, he talked about weight loss. I was doing a lot of the keto weight loss stuff and watching him and Seth. It was great. So, go out there, check out Aristocob's video on that, and enter that contest. Enter it. Have some fun with it. What else do we have? That was it. So let's get to your comments and questions. So, one of the things that I had asked about Matches 860 on one of his live streams was about whether or not they were going to do live streams on the Briar Report TV, and he did say in the chat that they were planning on doing that, or at least they were going to. Phil also gave me some additional information on that, talking about the logistics of it and everything else. So I absolutely think that stuff's coming. It's super exciting to see that, just because it's great to have some more of that interaction. I mean, that's why a lot of people watch Matches 860's live stream, because we're getting that interaction, and it's definitely very, very enjoyable, and I enjoy it thoroughly. Let's see. I have a question from Scott Stewart, who asked, who makes Dunhill pipes nowadays? New Dunhills are still being sold. They ain't cheap either. An arm and a leg. Well, and as you might know, I do enjoy Peterson pipes. They are one of my favorites, whether it's a P-lip or a fishtail that they put on there. They are still made by Peterson. However, they are owned by Ladisi, who also owns Smoking Pipes. So they are still being produced, and I love that fact that somebody is continuing on. This is one of those hobbies, one of those markets, one of those just communities where I like to see the perpetuity of brands, blends, you name it. So I am super excited about that, and hopefully that answered your question. I would check out articles on when Ladisi purchased Peterson, and they're still going. You can go to Peterson's website and actually check out some of the inventory. Do they cost a lot? Sometimes, but you know what you can do if you are in the hobby of refinishing pipes, or restoring them, or if you just want to buy some in bulk and send to maybe Briarworks or somebody else. Buy them on eBay. They're not terribly expensive on eBay. They can be, but they're not terribly expensive. George the Green Coblin. This never lets me down, man. Love this guy. Obrigado / thank you for the info. You're welcome. But Peterson's rebranding made me think. Hashtag ask over a pipe. Due to the new FDA regs, does changing the name and labels from Dunhill to Peterson mean it's subject to FDA scrutiny as they are altering the original format? Thanks for the info. We'll look out for it. He's got a second one too, and we'll get to that. Yes and no. Yes and no. I think this was something that Scandinavian Tobacco Group was working out the whole time. There is no way that Dunhill shut the doors on having them make tobaccos without them knowing ahead of time. So this stuff undoubtedly was in the works from the beginning. And I think they were positioning themselves for that. Luckily enough, I don't necessarily think, and I would, if somebody wants to comment down below, would appreciate it. I do not think that the blend necessarily follows the brand. I believe that these are blends and they stand out on their own. However, it could. There's probably some loopholes in this. Maybe the reason that they went with Peterson was actually because of the fact that it was already an established tobacco brand, and putting these blends in there, which were already in force, was able to allow them to bypass the issue with the deeming regulations. I think they lumped it under Peterson because of the brand name. I think it fit the most. But not necessarily sure. You have to make your judgment on that one and what you think they were trying to do. But that's what I think they were trying to do. I think the blend stands on its own, and it rolled up under Peterson because that's the brand that made the most sense for those blends. That in and itself too, they already were producing the blends, and they had purchased those blends from Dunhill. So purchasing those blends means those blends stay intact in all accounts. That's what I am coming to the conclusion of. But anybody else that knows, sound off below. Second question, hashtag ask OAP. Number 2, on a random thought, I have Cornell & Deal's Autumn Evening. It started out okay when I first smoked it in June, but after a month of having it jarred, it's lost all flavor. Is this due to the fact it's bone dry like my American Patriot, or is it an aromatic problem, or is this a Cornell & Deal issue? I remember the Bayou Guru Jason Montone put out a video on how he was pissed with Cornell & Deal's products lately. Autumn Evening for me was bone dry and crumbly, reminded me of instant coffee. The maple aroma was still there in the jar, but no flavor. So disappointed. Thanks again for answering my question. Thank you for asking these questions, which is why you are on this show. Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club Seth and Scott did a wonderful video where they had jarred. Scott, if you're watching, sound down below. How many jarred pounds of Lane 1Q? And did an experiment of allowing them to age. And one of the things that Scott and Seth pointed out specifically, was it had lost something of its original self. When you have tobaccos that are not aromatics and are just based off the foundation of the tobaccos themselves, the aging process is going to be somewhat different than a tobacco that is been through more chemicals, whether it's a casing or a topping. Those things are potentially going to get lost into those tobaccos. Now, an overly dry tobacco also has that problem. It is hard to pick out. American Patriot, even though it was bone dry, I still enjoyed the smoke. I probably would rehydrate it slightly. Maybe throw like a coin in there, like a hydration coin in there or something, or maybe tape it to the top of the lid, something like that, and bring a little bit back. But I don't like messing with tobaccos and moisture that much, just because of mold issues, things of that nature. So I don't think it's necessarily a Cornell and Deal issue. I think it is absolutely an aromatic issue. Again, Aristocob, or not Aristocob, Markwood Men's Breakfast Club, MMB Club, which is such a good show. I love that. Can't wait for Christmas Advent, by the way. Got my mug. But again, they did a really great video showing the transition of what happened over a long period of time with Lane 1Q fully jarred up. And I was very interested in the results of that, and I think it was very telling. And I have seen it often and over and over and over again, where these aromatic blends are losing some of their qualities over time, where your non-aromatics, your English blends, what have you, your Burleys, your Virginias, you name it, the age is enhancing those blends. So if you're smoking corncob and a button nose and wanting all those flavors and fragrances, well, eventually that stuff's going to meld together, or it's going to get absorbed, or it's going to dissipate. And that's what you were looking for. Not so much those individual tobaccos, where if you're smoking Dunhill Nightcap and that stuff is a bit punch you in the mouth, after a few years, that changes. You can see the transition of Escudo in Briar Blues' video that he made on that, and seeing how these tobaccos are darkening and becoming richer and flavorful. That's just how it goes. So the tobaccos that seem more or less bland or not as palatable, like some people don't like Stonehaven from the very beginning, we'll let those age. And through that aging process, flavors come out, other flavors mild out. Aromatics, those are probably milding out. And since they're chemically, induced flavors anyways, you're probably not going to get what you want later on. So that's what I think. Anybody else that has an opinion on this, please sound out down below. If I'm completely wrong or in left field, I'd love to know. I would absolutely love to know. New subscriber, Chris Vlojas, thanks for subscribing. Edric Sanchez, thanks for that subscription. Herferville replied, over a pipe, that's just crossing the stream right there. That was to their video where they were putting out some great, which crossing the streams from Ghostbusters. They were putting out some great lines from some good throwback movies, and they had a really, really good video that, or live stream video, something. I don't know. I was enjoying it. Go check out Herferville. Let's see. George the Green Coblin also had, thanks for the review, and this was on Stonehaven. Thanks for the review. I'm guessing you liked it. How would you rate it compared to the other Esoterica's top 3 or not? Cheers. I mean, that's hard because it's not like the other top. It's not like the top 3, which I'm assuming when you say top 3, you're obviously probably mentioning Stonehaven. You could be mentioning Peacehaven, which is another a little bit different blend. You could be mentioning Margate, or even Pembroke or Dunbar. So, I mean, you've got a Prethla. You have a lot. You have a lot of different tobaccos. And in those tobaccos, some of them are completely different blends, whether they're vapors, whether they're English blends, whether they're an English blend with a topping like cognac, whether they're a very aged flake. So it's hard. I would put it in my top 3, absolutely. I would say it is robust, earthy. It's a sleeper. It's one that at first you're going to be like, what's the big deal? And then you're like, there's a big deal. That's a big deal. It's definitely a big deal. Penzance is the same way. I am a firm believer that the results speak for themselves, and I can see a master blender. And anybody that wants to say the Germain and Son is not a master blender is probably talking out of their ear. This guy is a master blender that just does it right. And if he doesn't do it right, I don't want to, if he's doing it wrong, I don't want to be right. So, well, thank you everybody for stopping by to another pleasant Sunday smoke over a pipe. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you want to get some of the rare tobaccos like Stonehaven, Penzance, any of those others, please make sure to hit the bell. When they have drops, we will go live and get them to you. I'm excited. We got a new month. It's new stuff coming. So, you know what? While you're at it, go out there and get you some Haunted Bookshop. Go get you a good tobacco. In fact, go get you an old aromatic too if you're at it. And stick that in your corn cob and smoke it. We'll see you later.